Greetings. I am Steve Kelcom, your Shattered Empire scribe, reading from Chapter 5 of my book Freeborn, published by Your Link, and available for around $5 from Amazon and many other book retailers. I'm going to pick up from where I left off in my last video. So we are going to do what? Freeborn asked. He knew that Tishman was going to do something to help the girl. The man couldn't stand by and do nothing. Matlin, a magical theorist, lives here in Port Clay. He would have great interest in such an instinctive magician. Tishman began to dig into his bowl of stew. Freeborn didn't know what to say. Matlin could certainly give Kael a life far better than the one she knew on the streets. However, would he? To live as an experiment? Tishman paused, his spoon halfway to his mouth. No, he said vehemently. To live as an apprentice. Matlin will take notes, to be sure, and record what happens. But he won't treat her as an experiment. Now let us return to our meal before it gets much colder. Freeborn looked skeptically at his half-eaten bowl and the empty bread platter, then raised his hand to signal one of the serving girls for a fresh bowl and another loaf of bread. The next few days were spent visiting a number of shops in the merchant's ward where they purchased cold weather clothes, cloaks, boots, and snowshoes. Even though spring was rapidly approaching and they were headed south, Kari and her minions brought snow early to the high mountains and stayed late. In places they never left. One could never know when a blinding snowstorm might hit, and it was best to be prepared. In the same spirit, they purchased 3 gross worth of arrows. They kept 20 each and told the Fletcher that they would be back to pick up the rest before the Yaipa caravan left. Kael brought them word at the end of their first 10-day in Port Clay. The caravan had just arrived, she announced. The merchants were talking like it might be another 10-day or more before they left. Tishman thanked her and gave her 2 more silver oaks. Kael started to turn and run when Tishman stopped her. Thinking she might get more coin, Kael returned. Tishman bent down a little so he could look her in the eye as an equal, and told her that what he had seen her do and what it meant. He handed her a folded map and a sealed letter of introduction. Kael eyed the document skeptically. It's your choice, Kael, Tishman said gently. You can keep on as you have been and risk being defenseless when someone else recognizes your potential. Or you can go to Matlin's and take a chance for a better life. Tishman held out the documents again. You, and no one else, must make that decision. Conflicting emotions showed in Kael's face as she chewed on her lower lip, looked back and forth from the papers to Tishman's face. Suddenly, as she were trying to beat her own fears, her hands shot out and snatched the parchments. An instant later, she turned and sped down the street. 2 days later, when they visited Matlin's residence, a clean and smiling Kael opened the door.